Hello ladies and gentlemen, today we're gonna take a deep look at the Kirkhammer, one of the first weapons that you can get. But before I start, I will have 2 points. The first one is I just hit 20,000 subscribers recently and I'm flabbergasted. There's no other way to put it. Really guys, without you, I won't do what I'm doing now, so thanks for that. And the second point is all the footage in this video is going to be before patch, because after patch they changed the stamina consumption on the hammer mode. Some of the attacks, not all of the attacks. So yeah, in this video you're gonna see more stamina consumption, and now they fixed that, but not just to a certain extent. So without further ado, let's start. So here's my build, if you wanna pause here if you wanna see in detail. So I made a strength build, and my plan was to get the Kirkhammer, use it from beginning till end, and that's what I did. I got the Kirkhammer. You get it after you defeat the cleric beast from Central Yarnum, you know, the first area in the game. He's an optional boss, but pretty easy, and after you beat him you can buy it from the merchant shop. So the Kirkhammer, without a doubt, in my opinion, is the worst starter weapon in the game. This thing consumes stamina like there's no tomorrow in the hammer mode, and it's so weak. The blunt damage in this game isn't like the Soul series. If you're not familiar, in the Soul series, blunt damage, or strike damage, I think it was called in Dark Souls 2, yeah, something like that. Usually enemies, the weakest physical damage that they can get was blunt attacks. However, in this game it doesn't seem to be the case. For the first time they broke the cycle. So the enemies, they just sometimes they take more damage from fast weapons, and with the stamina consumption and all, it's not very appealing, to say the truth. But I went through it and I finished with the whole thing, and I can say definitely this weapon is an end game weapon, not even mid game. You have to upgrade it all the way, get good gems, the 18% ones you get from Mensis, Nightmare of Mensis, and then you will see results. And another quirky thing about the Kirkhammer, when it's in its hammer mode or transform mode, you can deal 50% more damage to enemies weak to righteous weapons. But don't be excited. Righteous, these enemies that are weak to righteous weapons, I think they only exist in Canehurst Castle, one area in the game, and I think there's one or maximum 2 enemies in Chalice Dungeons that are weak to this thing. So it's nothing special. If you want something special, take the serrated weapons, the threaded cane, soul spear, to deal more damage against beasts. So yeah, we put these out of the way. Let's start with the stats of the Kirkhammer. You require 16 in strength and 10 in skill to wield this weapon. So I don't think there's a starter class that can wield this weapon, because I believe the highest strength you can get is 14 or 15. I might be wrong, but yeah, it requires 16 and 10. Before I talk about the moveset, another thing about strength weapons that are also unappealing, and it proves that it doesn't prove anything, but the A-team, they don't like a lot of strength weapons, in my opinion. Not as Dark Souls 2, they fixed strength weapons. They made them at least much better than Dark Souls 1. But here, this weapon is very good, but another thing, they just give them disadvantage after disadvantage. Another disadvantage for the hammer is that you will deal minimal visceral attack damage, or critical attacks, because they scale with skill, and the higher level you go, but the skill buffs it a lot. It's the biggest factor, and of course with blood gems also increase them. But I did try them with blood gems, and you still can do what you do with skill weapons. Now, to be honest, already visceral attacks are very strong in this game, so you're doing a lot of damage, but nothing compared for skill weapons. For example, when I was in Chalice Dungeons and I wanted to get the best gems, that fight, one of these fights, visceral attacks make the fights much easier, and you can depend on visceral attacks because they don't deal quarter of what when you do skill build. And by the way, because this weapon is a strength weapon, you should go at least 40, maximum 50. I went with 50 if you saw my build. But another thing, when I was in Chalice Dungeons, I didn't need actually these versatile attacks, because one thing about the hammer that puts it above the rest in at least that aspect, it stuns enemy like nothing. It stuns the biggest of the big. Just hit them with that hammer, first time they didn't get stunned, hit another time, they will get stunned. So it's a stunner. I don't know how to put it, but yeah, it stuns like a mouse. And that's a very good advantage, but still, you know, the damage for something, you're swinging a hammer and you're feeling the weight and you just like do 100 damage. You know, I'm talking specifically in PvE, like when you start with the build. And it's just, I don't know, just, yeah, consider when I'm talking about this weapon that it's just end game weapon. And in that aspect, when I first played with it, I did have a bit of problem, you know, online. I was like, you know, I had mixed feelings. It did all good damage, very good damage. Like when you go 50 strength and you get the best gems, it does like 700 something. It doesn't go close to Ludwig, which can reach 1000 if you go like 50-50. But it's still very good. So I dissed the hammer for long, I think. Maybe the longest I dissed a weapon in the beginning. So let's start with the good things about this hammer. First of all, this hammer has an effect like that no other weapon has, which is when it's in hammer mode, it has like a area of effect. So even if you don't hit your opponent, it still hits them. But it hits only 60% of the actual damage. But it's still good, not less than 50. Anything more than half is good. So if you miss, you can actually still hit them. And the hammer itself is like a moving hitbox. It's like a, in this game there's no sweet spot like in Dark Souls 2. And so you can hit them from the handle, like literally, and still take full damage. So this thing, when it comes to hitbox thing, like it's very good. It's very good, but you have to train with it unlocked when you're playing with the hammer. Now, before I forget, let me talk about the sword. The sword is exactly the same as the Ludwig's one, you know, and it's boring, simple. It doesn't make the weapon unique, and it's actually shorter than the Ludwig's one for some reason. Another disadvantage for this weapon. It's very good, don't get me wrong, and it's, if you want to get this weapon in the beginning, you should use it, because you know all the stamina consumption, and the hammer is not that great at the beginning. And the R2 is very good, although it's just one attack, that delay hits a lot of people after they quick step. Very good attack indeed. It's very good, but it doesn't make this weapon unique. What makes this weapon unique is the hammer. And as you can see, that charge attack is man, every time I get that, there's like an evil smile in my face. You just smash them in like a nail. And I love that, man. I love that. I don't know if that makes me a dick, but I love doing it. And yes, this weapon, when it comes to bait attacks, it's very good. Like, I always like pull my back to my enemy, press R2 as hard as you can, get them if they come close to them, like aim at them manually. And if they don't come, like if they you know back up, usually they come in to, you know, counter attack you. They think you're, oh, vulnerable, man. He just did the charge attack. I bet he doesn't have stamina. And then you do that second R2, which, like, it's like the new golf swing. Just get it on your opponent and see how satisfying. And it can one shot some people. So, and the Ludwig, by the way, is the same, but not as good as this one in my opinion. But still, the Ludwig can do the same thing, that same bait. But yeah, it's good. The R1s, like, every time you quick step, the quick step R1s don't do as much damage as you know the normal R1s. But if you keep like swinging, it goes faster and faster. I believe that's how it felt. Like, especially if you quick step attack, then quick step attack, it goes faster and faster. So, you know, momentum carries the attack. Like, literally, I think that's the case. And yeah, like, when you get the gems and all that, the hammer is very good. The L2 especially, the L2 is delayed. Delays in this attack and this game is very good, because usually people, as soon as they see that you hit the R1, they usually straight away quick step and counter. And with that delay, they quick step and then they get hit. And it's a 3-hit combo. The second one is like a thrust attack, and I love it. And also the backstep R2 does the same effect, that thrust attack, and it's amazing. I really like this attack. Another good attacks are the transformed attacks, especially from sword to hammer. Like press R1 with the sword, then L1, and then you get 2 hits that are unique to transformed attacks. So L1, R1, R1, these 2 R1s are unique and they are very good. The first one like comes out very fast, and these attacks have hyper armor, translates that mean don't get stunned during the animation. So they're very good in general. So I like this weapon actually, but you have to, you know, use it, like train with it, and have another weapon, a second weapon that is fast to complement, you know, the slow speed of this weapon. So in all, I think I finished about this weapon. I really like it. I think the gameplay talks by itself, like how to use the weapon. You should be strategical. And also, getting parried is not as easy as you think, because usually people, they spam R1 with fast weapons. The probability of, you know, riposting these guys are higher. However, that slow attack is only one attack, so they have to really aim that L2, you know. Anyways, Another uploader who is using the Kirkhammer is Martyr Brigade. Shout out to him. I like that he uses strength weapons. He usually talks about like he commentates more. I like to do weapon guides. He's like about commentating and really giving you a picture like when he's using weapons. And I really recommend you, if you're interested in this weapon, to go watch his channel, because I think the Kirkhammer is his go-to weapon. So, and because why I say also shout out to him, because not many people use this weapon. It's kind of rare in PvP because it demands more skill, I think, in my opinion. Another thing, I wanted to release the Blades of Mercy. I did it before this Kirkhammer. However, when I played last time with Praise the Sun, shout out to him also. He was also doing the Kirkhammer and the Blades of Mercy. So I think he's gonna release the Blades of Mercy next. So I didn't want to release same both. Although we take different approaches, but I said I'll release it later. Yeah, just I want to put that also. Anyways, that's the end of this video, guys. Really, I thank you for everything, and really I can't like describe. I'm very good by the describing, but I'm really excited for the 20 subs, and I hope this channel grows, and I'll put more time on my videos. Anyways, I'll see you guys on my next video. Bye bye.